module. And make sure you watch the warm-up. It's a really great little video. And then the preparing for your performance task, there are videos in Canvas that are going to walk you through each part of this, and actually through more parts of this because I took some of it off. Yours is kind of an adapted version. All right. So once you watch those videos, then you are going to open up your Unit 3 performance task. And these two IXLs are there to help you with this. So if you want to do those first, like before you do the performance task, that's A-okay, because they're going to help you with the performance task. So once you open that up, it will look like this. Okay. So if you want to go ahead and go into Canvas and make sure you can open these documents and get to it, I've also put, you don't need to, there's only one student guide, but I put a Word document in there in case that's what your computer likes. I put a PDF in case that's what your computer likes. And I also, it's not showing on this because I made this earlier, but I did put a Google Doc also that you can click on if a Google Doc works best with your computer. Okay, so you don't have to print it out. So if you don't have a printer, that's A-okay. But if you do, you can print it out and write directly onto your student guide. I'm going to talk about it. And then you're going to click on submit. Okay, when you get ready to submit. But let me talk about a couple of things that you need to know. So all work needs to be in your own handwriting, okay? So you have three options. You can print out your student guide and write directly on it. You can not print it, just show your work on a loose sheet of paper, but just make sure you number it correctly. And I'm going to put the numbers in here as I go through, so you'll know exactly how to number it so you'll get the graded correctly. Or like I was doing when I was showing you IXL, you can use the snip and pen on your computer if you would like to do that. It's a little hard to write that way, but if you feel comfortable doing it, that's fine with me also, as long as it's your work. I don't want anything copied from or pasted from the internet. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Okay. Somebody typed Alejandra to try to refresh. Okay. Well, it's going to be in the recording, so don't worry. If you missed it, it's in the recording. I'm going to post the recording as soon as we get out of here. Okay. So once you do your assignment in one of those three ways, what you're going to do is either, take a picture or scan it and save it to your computer as a PDF, a Word document, or a text file. And then you'll save it to your computer, go to that choose file, and then submit assignment. Okay? If you have to do more than one file, you can add, I think it has a limit, but you can add a lot of files. All right, so here's the main instruction, and it's talking about proven congruency and using rigid transformations. And it shows you the three rigid transformations. Those will come in handy later. You got translation, reflection, or rotation. All right, so here's the directions again. It just tells you how it has to be in your own handwriting and what you're going to do. And this is the first one. And this is part 1, and it gives you a given. How many givens does this give you? Anybody see? 2. Okay. And it tells you what you're going to prove, and it gives you the pictures. Okay. So what you're going to do is write a paragraph proof. And don't panic. It's not that hard. And like I said, next Wednesday in class, we'll walk through it together and I'll give you time to work on it. But this is what it's going to look like. It's a 5-sentence paragraph. You label it part 1, number 1. Okay. The first sentence is going to be your given. Okay. The second sentence is going to be an angle pair created by parallel lines and transversals. You'll say, you know, corresponding angles, if that's what it is. Second one is another angle pair created by parallel lines and transversals. Your fourth sentence is just the rigid transformation that mapped one shape onto the other. Was it a reflection, a rotation, or a translation? Okay? And then your last sentence is already given to you. That's what you're proving. And you tell why you proved it. You know, is it side, 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 angle, side, etc., etc. Okay? 5-sentence paragraph. All right. Part 2, number 1. This is all given to you. So let's say you didn't want to print this out or can't print this out. This is what you would write on your paper. You're going to label it part 2, number 1, and then you'll have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And they're all reasons for each part of the proof, just like we do in our warm-up every day before class, right? You're just going to write them down. All right. Next part. This is part 2, number 2, and it has 3 parts, and this is the rest of your assignment. So it's 3 parts that all kind of come together in the last part. So it's all broken down. So the first part is labeled part 2, number 2A, and you see how there's 2 triangles here that are overlapping each other? If I see that? You're going to draw the 2 triangles separated. Oops, sorry. You're going to draw the 2 triangles separated. And then all you're going to do is label all the congruent sides and angles with your congruency marks. Pretty easy. All right. The next part, part 2, number 2B, it says, what additional information will be necessary to prove that the 2 triangles are congruent? What congruency theorem would be applied? So this is basically one sentence. What 2 pairs of congruent sides or angles are needed to prove these triangles are congruent? You name those, and then you tell me when you have those, what congruency theorem would work. Side, angle, side, angles, side, angle, etc., etc. Okay? One sentence. Then you definitely want to save this PowerPoint because this little part right here is not given. This is all you're given in part C. But basically, this is what you're going to do, is you're going to write me a proof on your own. And you can use this as a template, okay? These are your statements and your reasons. And if you'll look, I've given you part of 2 of your answers. You know that the first one's going to be your what? Given, right? And your last one is always going to be what you're trying to prove. You just got to give the reason on how you proved it. And then these 2 in the middle, they come from this part. You tell how you found the 2 congruent corresponding parts you found, and then you tell that those triangles are congruent and why. You've already done those 2 sentences in part B. Okay? All right. So you got your iExcel practice. Make sure you go over 308 for lessons on Friday. I'm going to open the PowerPoint so you can save it. And I'm also going to put this in with your recording, but for the lesson for today. But make sure you save the PowerPoint so you have all this information I just gave you. And once you save your PowerPoint, if you don't have any questions, you are free to go. But if you have questions, go ahead and put them in chat. I'm happy to answer them.